Okay, I got my email from YouTube letting me know that I, who am the person who is streaming, am the person who is streaming. So I assume that means that I'm streaming. More importantly, the little microphone thing says that it's going, so let's go ahead and turn on the camera so that I can say it is Thursday night, and I am a Screaming Wyvern. I call myself Wyvern because, like a dragon, I hoard role-playing games. I'm also unbalanced and occasionally toxic. And tonight, I am hoping that people will keep on putting little RPG packages together and say that they're for charity, because it looks much better when I show my wife that it was for charity than if I'm just spending the money anyway. Wait, she's still in the house. I said that too soon. So, last week, I delved into a lovely game called Village Emporium and had quite a wonderful time. Didn't do that well. That's okay. There we go. And I said, chances are I'm going to give it another try next week. And then next week, or between last week and next week, obviously, I was talking to Ways Unseen, who said the magic words expansion pack. So, of course, I had to go and see what that was all about. My YouTube link does have the. Hold on a second. What is going on YouTube? Is YouTube. Okay, I got an email. What does it mean? Please stand by. We are experiencing the technological issues, and we are very confused by them. Okay. Okay, I'm now watching myself on my phone, talking to myself. And now I am watching myself say that I am watching on my phone, watching myself. And I'm waiting to see if it dies. I am not a professional. If you hadn't realized that before. Okay, there's me saying I'm not a professional, which means everything is completely under control. Nothing is wrong. You saw nothing of interest. Well, since my big head's in the screen. Anyway, what have I been using? Second screen? Nope. What the heck did I push? There we go. Second screen. That makes perfect sense. Let me go ahead and load up some dice. So as I said, the previous game, we made it through the various seasons, foraging for stuff, and occasionally making sales of a variety of types. And in many ways, that will be unchanged. However, there is one small wrinkle that, if we look at the, I mean, ignoring the fact that the bonuses that I was relying way too much on are hiding um, under the orcs tab, um, we've got this thing right here. This used to be just a lovely little bit of forest land, but now it is an orc stronghold. So before it was you could forage or trade or run the shop. You could upgrade the shop, and let me tell you, I did these things randomly because uh, I wasn't very good at necessarily paying attention. And now we have the orc actions. Now, before the tables had an out and about event. Orc actions. Yeah, those are obviously replacing the out and about actions. So we'll go ahead and we will do our forage or trade or run the shop. We'll have a chance to run the shop, and then the orc actions are basically so. While you were away, here's what happened. Hopefully that's okay with you. And then of course we mark off the day. Okay. Now the first thing we need to do is shrink down our die roller. Whee. Who are we up against today? I can't see the six-sided die. That's the one die I absolutely need to see. So, the Orc Chieftain, that is going to be our friend and sworn companion today, will be number 4, Orthgud the Irritable. Orthgud the Irritable just wants to watch the world burn. At the end of every season, roll 1d6. On a 1, 2, or 3, you must destroy an upgrade of your choosing. It must be one you have already purchased, and you may not purchase that upgrade again. So there's also a small change. We've got a the pet mimic has been approved. So fancy sign. You may serve a third customer each day if you successfully served your second. That can sometimes be very useful. It wouldn't be a absolute nightmare if I bought that at the beginning of a season, only to lose it at the end. So that's worth thinking about. Expanded storage. You may stock 2 additional items. If I lose that, that will be a tragedy. So that's like it's only 4, but that's some nice risk versus reward there. A lucky charm. You may decrease customer roll by 1, and you may reduce your raid risk tracker by 2. That is a so any of my customer rolls can be decreased, which can be used to go ahead and say, well, I rolled a 12. I don't have any of these things. I do have an iron sword, so I'll go ahead and treat that as an 11. Let Roland in. So that one's a constant, but the raid risk tracker goes down by 2 immediately. And then that's destroyed at the end of the month. Okay, or season. That one is I'm putting that very high on the reward. Uh, let's see. Counterbell. Once per run the shop action, you may re-roll your dice, which is of course extremely useful. Um, it's 2 completion points. So now we start into the, because of course that's going to be the end of the season before you tally up your completion points. So that's an interesting one. Rare items trade connection. That one is tough because on the one hand it's 8 coins, um, and it's 3 completion points. So I really want to get that in the summer or the autumn if I can afford it, but that'll be pretty painful. Okay, this one is worthwhile. Okay, staff uniforms. You may increase customer roll by 1 or 2, or 1/2. Could be worth trying. And your assistant won't quit. At the end of each season, your apprentice goes off and does their own thing, and you have to pay another 3 to buy a new one or hire a new one. We don't buy people. Um, so that's a good value right there. Tapestries may charge 1 extra coin per item sold and 3 completion points. And a pet mimic prevents raids on your Emporium. Um, Now they were very careful in their wording. This does not count as a raid. This is, you have to at sword point get rid of one of your upgrades. So going back to the risk versus reward thing, if I'm going to buy one thing, I need to buy 2 things. Is really what it comes down to. The one thing that uh I absolutely don't want to lose, and the one thing that wouldn't be quite as sad if I lost it. Which of course makes things expensive, but that's life. Okay, let's keep on keeping on with the. So setup is the same. Haggle and Eagle Eye points are still available. They still have the penalty that they had before, which, given just how badly I stabbed myself in the knee with that last time, want to go ahead and try and avoid that, but they are there if I need to. So all the normal stuff. Um, so orc actions. They may just be relaxed. They may be foraging, which means that local customers aren't going to come to your Emporium, are being mean to the local, um, which loses us a Plains Forest location. Let me just quickly. Oh, I've got a yellow highlighter. That'll work perfectly. Have been tormenting your assistant while they're out foraging. And this is kind of like that one that really hurt me last time. Okay. Um I am seeing what appears to be a typo. I believe that 9 to 10 is supposed to be where we cross out the Plains or Forest location. Um, Our being means the locals, as local customers will not visit your emporium. I've been tormenting your assistant. It goes with your assistant quits. And our, nope, our foraging 2 goes down here. Okay, it doesn't matter because this is flavor text and this is what actually is happening, and the odds are just the same for everything. So, I will have to go ahead and mention about that. Um, or maybe I'll just go ahead and completely forget because my mind is like, well, I can't even think of a word that describes how forgetful I am. So, um, foraging is normal unless you want to forage near the orc. Go ahead and zoom this in. So you'll notice that I've got bonuses to foraging in all these locations now. This is a change from where they were a little bit scattered. Um, so they're more bountiful, but if I forage at those locations, the risk rate tracker goes up by 1. Going out to trade will I can only go to the same trader 3 times before the orcs um start making things more dangerous, and that will mean that, so I go to A once, I go to A twice, I go to A 3 times. Next one, I increase the raid risk tracker. Um so as probably expected, when I roll the orc actions, I'm going to add the raid risk tracker to my results. And think I think everything else makes perfect sense. So, as before, let's go ahead and make this a little more visible. Ah, okay. As before, I get extra foraging on plains in the summer, extra foraging in forests on the winter, but in, in the autumn, but in the winter, I no longer can forage rivers. So I am probably going to continue my logic from last time and focus on the rivers all spring. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got 5 I can go to before I start adding the risk. Um, there's nothing extremely meaningful about that. That's just a statement of fact. Okay. So, step 1, um, make sure I don't give myself too much damn money. Mark 5 coins behind the counter. 5. Can I increase the size of that? No, it doesn't matter. 5 coins. Now, I go ahead and roll on the 3 terrain foraging tables. So, 1, the plains, which gives me a dock leaves. Now for the forest, apple. And finally, a seaweed. Let's go ahead and mark that there is one of each of these items currently on the shelf. And now let's go ahead and do trade goods just to double check. Trade goods are, whoops, wrong screen. A and B, yes. So that gives me a ironmongery times 1, value 2. Oh, I should go ahead and keep track of that on here too, so I'm not flipping over all the time. 1, 2, 2. And Trader B is giving me a Tome of Oddities. And if you were watching last week, or if you watched last week's, this is the value on the foraged items is actually how much I sell it for. On the trade goods, I get 2 extra coins over what I bought it for. And since I got it for free, technically, them's good eatings. Okay, so let's go ahead and start Spring 1. First, I do not have an assistant, so I can forage, or I can trade, or I can run my shop. So, looking over my potential customers, wild carrot and truffle don't have that. Doc leaves, and ironmongery. Sven would be an excellent person to come visit. Hilda wants a seaweed. There's another person who would buy a dock leaf. You'd buy the apple. Vlad would buy nothing I have. Buttons. Buttons literally would buy out my entire stock, and it would be glorious. Hans is an apple buyer. Petal is a seaweed buyer. So yeah, for the most part, I can't go too wrong with local customers. So let's go ahead and test that theory. I'm going to go ahead and start right here and do a forage. My forage is a 5. I am going to open up I'm going to move this over to my other screen because you will all just have to trust me that I am not cheating my butt off. But a roll of 5 on a river is a trout. A high value fishy. Okay, now I could upgrade if I had an actual plan for that already. And then I roll on the Orc Raiders. Okay, so Orc actions is 2d6. I'll go ahead and slide this back over so that you can see what horror awaits me. Currently, Raid Risk Tracker says nothing is wrong. So, I have a good chance of nothing going wrong. Okay, despite, doing my absolute best to jinx myself, I have managed not to jinx myself, so hooray for me. You can go ahead and wander back over here. And that concludes the spring. So previously, I discussed the fact that I had quite a few local customers who would be interested in doing business with me. So I am going to go ahead and run the store today to see if I can take advantage of that. So I roll 2d6. Eight is Buttons. Buttons is, of course, a fearsome gnome barbarian. And Buttons is interesting in purchasing a seaweed, an apple, and an ironmongery, which, as we mentioned before, makes Buttons our favorite person. So, first off, we will go ahead and sell the seaweed, which provides us with 1 coin. Then we will sell the apple, which provides us with 2 coins. And finally, the ironmongery, which provides us with 4 coins and the need to actually do math. So, now that I have gotten myself a little bit more coin, I have the ability to try for a second visitor. Our second visitor is number 4, Hilda. Hilda is looking for a truffle, which I do not have. She is looking for a seaweed, which I just sold the last of. And she is looking for a wooden shield, which I have never actually owned, so no real change there. So she obviously leaves, saying bad things about my parentage, which is very sad to me. But I now have the ability to go ahead and do a upgrade. But I am not going to, because I am going to save my coin for the traders. Not the traitors. I know I said that last week. I'm making the same joke again because I am predictable. Orc time. So, still no addition to the raid risk tracker. Let's see what happens. That is a 7, which is still happy, relaxed orcs in their camp, playing board games, making cookies. Maybe this is one of the board games they're playing. You never know. But that ends spring. That ends day 2 of spring. Okie dokie. Is there anyone who especially interests me at this time? Now, let's go ahead and keep it random. We will go ahead and go south of the town, which gives us another trout. Trouts are good. Trout are nice. Even the out of town customers like their trout. Obviously, I want to wait until I've got a few more items because this is way more impressive than this. But together, they're unstoppable. Okay. So that was my forage attempt. Much as I would like to have more control over the customer role, I don't need to touch the risk tracker quite yet. Um, but it does seem a little premature. But I am going to go ahead and spend the 3 coins to hire an assistant for the rest of the season. Okay. So now let's see what the orcs are up to. Suspiciously, it's a 7 again. 7, one of those unlucky numbers that if it comes up 3 times, then your next verse is first thinkifying. That made no sense. Okay, now that I have an assistant, I can do both. Whoops. I can do both a forage and a trade. So let's check this one right here. And it is a 3rd trout. I am pleased with trout, but this is not going to happen when I am looking for apples and carrots in the future. I guarantee. Yeah. Can't complain too much about the trout. We have lots of people who like trout. We'll go ahead and go to Trader A. Trader, excuse me. Trader A is currently looking to sell me 1 iron sword, which I will be purchasing. And let's go ahead and take a look at our odds for tomorrow. Okay, so I have pulled over the wrong screen. Go. Okay, so Cobb is looking for wild carrot, which I don't have, or truffle, which I don't have. Sven is looking for dock leaves, which I do have, wild carrot, which I don't have, and ironmongery. Truffle, seaweed, wooden shields, dock leaf, snakeskin, patched cloak. Frigga here wants an iron sword. Clearly, I need to stop getting lucky. Because some people would love to have some seaweed. We have many sushi connoisseurs here in the city. And if I look primarily at the non-locals, um, you want the tone of oddities. You also want the tone of oddities. You want a trout. You want a trout. You want a trout. You want the iron sword. So that's basically half of them. Yeah, let's go ahead and invite them over tomorrow. Assuming we survive today. Bum, bum, bum. Okay. A 4. 4 is way less than a 9, so we are still quite comfortable. So that's the end of that day. Okie dokie. Step 1. Let's go ahead and, since I am planning on having guests over, why don't we go ahead and seek out a merchant to start with? I just did Trader A, so let's do Trader B. 6. That is an elixir of strength worth 4. And I am afraid that if you remember last week and my decision to have one of these be a password box instead of a text box, I have not made that same mistake this time. Okay, so we are going to see who drops by from out of town. The roll is an 8. The person is Milo. Milo is the absolute worst person to have shown up. They want a seaweed, which I do not have. They want a pearl, which I do not have. And they want an ancient mirror, which I do not have. So, their day was wasted. Okay, low on the coin. Really did not want that to be the way that that ended up. But nobody cares what I want. Unless we're talking about no orcs yet, in which case, apparently, the orcs care what I want. So that is lovely. Okay. Time tracker go boop. Yes. Okay, for the first round, we're going to go ahead and do one more river search. I can't believe that I am hoping for a low roll, but there it is. And my dreams came true. Seaweed. Seaweed has a value of 2. It has been that long since I put that on the list. You think that I would remember, but you would be wrong. Okay, second action. Let's go ahead and try to serve a out-of-town customer. 10. That would be Willow. Willow is looking for a trout. A trout she may have. I will reduce that by 2. I will increase this by 3. And then I will put this lovely little checkbox into this area where checks go. Check mark into this checkbox is obviously what I meant to say. So, since I have been able to serve Willow, I have the ability to attempt to serve a second person. Let's keep them from out of town. 7. 7 again. Yes. Well, at least it wasn't, as disappointing as the last time I had someone come over and I couldn't serve them. So, am I going to use my 3 extra coins to upgrade? Not at this time. How are the orcs feeling today? That is a 10. 10. Orc actions has the effect of local customers will not visit your Emporium next round. That is unfortunate. But sometimes this happens. This is the face of a man who is trying to decide if he should do something smart and stupid. At the same time, it is the last day of spring. We are going to forage from this location right here, which means that I have to put a pip right here. I mean, I am doing this intentionally, not due to any idea of strategy that I might have, but because I want to give you the best experience if you come back later going, I wish to learn this game. Yes, that is my story, and I am sticking to it. This camera is too high. It is silly. So, I get 2 water rolls. Water roll number 1 is a 6, which is a pearl, which is a wonderful roll. 4. Sorry. And for my second roll, a 1, which is a second seaweed. This is actually extremely pleasing to me. Okay, I'm going to quickly double check and make sure that I didn't forget something. Run the shop. So yeah, even though they're not going to come to visit my shop today, locally, I can have 2 out of towners anytime I want. So I did not do anything wrong previously. Okay, so I have foraged. I am not ready to upgrade yet. I am adding a modifier and rolling a 9, which means that local customers will not visit tomorrow either, which is sad because it's a whole new season. I thought I was so clever using radio buttons here, but no, that's not. No, that's okay. Okay. So that was the last day of spring. I've gone through the whole day. It is now summertime. Yes, everything makes sense. This we are starting on the first day of summer. So all of these spots here, this one over here, are planes. And by default, I get 2 forages in planes. So let's go ahead and start there. We will go with roll number 1, which gives us another dock leaf, followed by a snake skin. Snake skin by 1, value of 2. Okay. I am going to go ahead and use my next action to try and trade with Trader A. I have 7. The most expensive thing here is 5. I'm planning on doing some selling tomorrow. What Wyvern has just done is called cheating. If this was an edited video, this is where I would rewind and show you the scene where I said very specifically that your assistant leaves at the end of the season, followed by me pointing out that this is the start of a new season. And that means ain't no assistant, ain't no foraging and trading at the same time, ya cheating wannabe dragon. So anyway, as I was saying, we now go to our upgrade phase. With nothing to do in the upgrade phase, we have our raid risk at 1. And that's a 9 again, which means that I can't get local people tomorrow, but that's okay, because I'm still quite pleased with all the people that I can bring in from out of town. That's my story, and I'm sticking. Anyway, so that ends day 1 of summer. So since I cannot do 2 things because I have not hired an assistant, let's go ahead and see which out of town customer here is going to visit today. It will be 5. Leaf. Leaf is looking for a honeycomb, which I do not have. He is looking for a healing balm, which I do not have. He is looking for a tome of oddities, which I very much do have. So that was a value of 5. I get to sell it for 7. And since that one was 14, that's nothing but profit, baby. 14 coin. I think this is where we avoid cheating again and hire the assistant. But this would not be the last time he cheated. Yeah. Raid risk is still at 1. We'll go ahead and throw that modifier in and roll low. Okay. No harm done today. Wait. I got ahead of myself. Let's rewind slightly. So, I sold Leaf the Tome of Oddities. Click. Now, because I successfully served Leaf, I can go ahead and try and serve another customer, which would be a good idea because that's how you make monies. So, it is a 5. That would be Leaf coming back to see, did you get any honeycomb in the last 5 seconds? Okay, so I've already admitted that I cheated. So even though this isn't technically something I can go ahead and re-roll. Oh, it's a 7! That's a completely useless person. I'm so glad I cheated and have to live with the guilt of that because Balin wants a snakeskin, a treasure map, or a paraglider. One of which very much is on my screen here. Oh, hey, let's go ahead and sell the snakeskin for 2. Even when I'm playing badly, I play badly. But now I can go ahead and mark Balin off the list. So, then we go to where I bought the assistant. Then we go to where the orcs were relaxing today. And then I can go ahead and move on to the next day. This is where I again point out that I didn't make any bad statements about the orc actions being out of order. So being cursed by the dice there was not fair. Okay. Let's go ahead and start off with these planes over here. And once again, I can do 2. Technically, I did not mean I can roll a 2, but... And there is another... No, this is my first carrot. No, that was a snakeskin. Okay. So I'm ready for next time. This time I am going to actually go to Trader A and see what he's got to sell. And today he has an ironmongery, which sold so well last time. I will be happy to buy a second one for 2. Okay. 11 gold. I should probably have made a bigger deal of the fact that the orc demanded that I destroy one of my upgrades, and I didn't have upgrades yet, but I'm making that big deal about it now. Allegedly. Now I'm going to go ahead and pass that. And I will roll low enough to not have anything unfortunate happen. Okay. That begins our next day. So let's go ahead and take a chance with Trader B. They are trying to sell a elixir of strength and just don't have that many people who are interested in it. So I don't think I'm ready to do that. I may regret it, but that's life. Okay, let's go ahead and start with a local customer. Nine. Nine brings us Hans. Hans is looking for an apple, a snakeskin, or a boar meat. We have no apples, but we do have this lovely snakeskin right here, which we can sell for two. And seeing that we successfully served one of our locals, we can try another one. And it will be Brega. Brega is looking for a wild carrot, which I don't have, a apple, which I don't have, and or an iron sword, which I do have. So that is a lovely sale of 6 coins going ka-chink, ka-chink into my little coin box. So, what are the orcs going to do with this round? Except I forgot to add my one, so that means that there will be no local customers tomorrow, and that's kind of okay because I did well by them today. Okay, we are close to the end of the week, which I'm actually going to pay attention to this time. I have so many dock leaves, but I don't have the other things. But at the same time, if I try for the other things, that's going to be a problem in and of its own. No, let's keep it simple. And that is my snakeskin being replaced. I get one more check. And that is another dock leave. Okay. This is my last chance to safely visit Trader A. So I hope he has something nice for me. He does. This one, I'm a little more. Wait. Okay. I sold that to a local. There's two locals who want that. Um, since it's only two, I feel a lot better about spending that money than I did about the elixir of strength. So that's okay. So, foraging done, trading done. It is now time to decide if I'm going to upgrade anything. I am very close to the end of the season. But I am not going to make, or because of that, I'm not going to make. Yes, I'm satisfied with this choice. Risk tracker is at 1. An 8 is rolled, which is still calm orcs. So we can go ahead and move to our final day. Okay, we're going to go ahead and do our last safe visit to Trader B. And this, children, is where things start to get interesting. Okay, Trader B is currently offering me one a patched cloak. I do not have one of those. And we will remove that coinage amount from here. Okay. I have my foraging completely maxed out right now. Let's go ahead and see if an out-of-town customer wants anything I am looking for. 6, that would be Lila. Lila would like a trout. I will sell her 1 trout, which will put 3 coins into my bag. Lila is also looking for leather gauntlets. Lila should buy a 2nd trout instead, and then use them as slippery and slimy gauntlets. Fish gauntlets. No, she's specifically looking for leather, so that doesn't work. Okay. I have traded. I have had my first successful attempt. Let's do a 2nd successful attempt. Yes, I am aware. I just skipped to the part where I just magically was successful. We'll overlook that and just sell the 2nd trout. Which brings me to 20, but tragically, I already have helped Willow, so I don't get a bonus check mark. Such is life. Okay, I'm not going to purchase anything right now. Let's see what the orcs are up to. Let's go ahead and put on the modifier so I don't forget. And let's see what the orcs are up to. They're up to pillaging. That would be local customers will not visit your Emporium, which is upsetting, disappointing, tragical. Okay. That brings us to the new season. I don't have anything that Orthgood could make me destroy. That is about to change. So right now, I have 2 things from the lake or the river, and I have 2 things from the plains. Now I can go to the forests and get extra stuff. But if I do that, I'm going to end up with the possibility of something not fitting. I am going to go ahead and give it a shot right here. But I worry. Okay, a 3. That is a truffle. And if I do a 2nd roll, it is another truffle. I am safe from confusion today. Okay. This is where I would normally say, okay, let me go ahead and hire myself 1 assistant, but instead, I am going to go ahead and purchase this here expandulated storage. That means that these 2 extra storage bins are now available for my use, which will be very useful tomorrow unless something tragic happens today. So, my Raid risk is still at 1. 5, 6, that means that they are relaxed orcs. Everything is fine. And we move up the time tracker. And sip the water. Okay. Only have one action available to me. Let's go ahead and try and bring in a local customer because they tend to be scared away so easily. And that is 2. That is Cobb. Cobb is looking for a wild carrot, which I do not have to offer, but he's also looking for a truffle, which I do have to offer. So, Surf Strength, Ironmongery, Patch. Let's go ahead and do the local customers again. 6. This is Brega again, who is looking for a wild carrot, which I do not have, an apple, which I do not have, or an iron sword, which I do not have. So, this is where I go ahead and spend the 3 to hire myself an assistant for the rest of the season. Nope, forgot the modifier. 9. That means nobody will visit me tomorrow. From local. Nobody local will visit me tomorrow. Okay. Um. I'm going to go ahead and visit this one right here for my first action. A 5 is an apple. With a value of 2. And there is a honeycomb. Now, if you are here and were not here last week, or just have forgotten, last week not only did I not get my hands on a honeycomb, there was actually a over foraging situation where I could not get my hands on a honeycomb ever. So I'm just happy that that's there. Okay, so I have 18 coin. This seems like a perfect time to go ahead and buy the staff uniforms. For one thing, that's going to go ahead and give me the ability to adjust my roll. Um, I wiggled both ways. I only meant one way. And also, my assistant will stay on. So I won't have to worry about them quitting as long as either Orthgud does not destroy or I lose my storage instead. Okay. We are running. It's only the beginning of autumn. Don't get greedy. Okay. So for our first roll, foraging. In the forest, we get a 4, which is a second apple. Please buy this. Would you please stop clicking on that? Um, and that was a 1, which is a second truffle. Okay, I cannot have locals visiting, but that doesn't stop these out of town customers from stopping by. And I have a new technique. Okay, I have rolled 6. 6 is Lila. Lila wants a trout, which I no longer have, or leather gauntlets. But wait, I can add 1 or 2 to my roll, which puts me at Milo. Milo is looking for a seaweed, of which I have 2. He's also looking for a pearl, which will move this to 15. And they're looking for an ancient mirror, which doesn't help anything. Um, but that doesn't change the fact. Okay, it doesn't say that that is a once per thing. Let me just go ahead and see if the rules were different last time. Um, nope, that is not a one time thing, so I can do it one more time. So that rolls me a 7. Um, if I had a trout, that would be great. If I had a magic scroll, that would be great. And if I had ruby amulet, that would be great. But Balin is good enough. I at least have a snake skin. Um, that brings me to 17. Okay. I think I'm going to go ahead and spend 8 of my monies to unlock the rare items trader. Partially because he's got all the things that I just wasn't able to sell, but mostly because you know what, I'm gonna go with that one being the actual reason because that's pretty important. Okay, so that was my upgrade. I go ahead and add my raid risk tracker of 1. I do the roly poly, and I get a 7, although that looked like it was going for a 3 there. So I'm glad that it changed its mind. Okie dokie. So, now that I have room, I am going to do an unwise thing. Raising the raid risk tracker by 1, I'm going to forage here. Uh, and I'm going to roll dock leaves twice, making me regret everything. That was 1 dock leaves. So I half regret everything. And that is another dock leave, leaving me to type in the wrong thing. I have so many dock leaves, it's not even funny. But I can go after local people today. So let's do that and see if I can sell off some of these gosh darn dock leaves. Okay, the roll I get is a 9. That would be Hans, who is looking for an apple, snakeskin, or boar meat. I can add 1 to that, getting me Petal, who wants seaweed, honeycomb, and leather gauntlets. A much better choice. Mikhail wants honeycomb, a trout, and a healing balm. No, I think we'll go ahead and go with Petal. So that is my last seaweed for 2. And my only honeycomb for 3, leaving me with 14. Okay. So now, I'm not going to do any upgrades right now. I've made the extra money that I want for Trader C. So, with their risk increased, what will it be? 11. 11 is cross out a single plains or forest location. You may no longer forage here. I am going to grab my yellow highlighter. My green highlighter. Yes. And I'm going to go ahead and cross out this very okay, you and I have a very different opinion of what the word green highlighter means. Um, stand by. Can I go ahead and add some text? Yes. I think that gets my point across. Okay. So, does that bring my point across? There. That gets my point across. There's no question there. Okay, so that was my orc turn. So we're on to the next one. Okay. For our first step, we're going to visit Trader C. Trader C wishes to sell me 1 paraglider, which I will be purchasing. Putting this back down to 9. Okay. So you also must. Do any of my locals want a paraglider? No, and I'm not particularly surprised by that. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and make the risky move of getting 3 forages, which gives me 1 more truffle, which gives me 2 more truffles, which gives me another apple. Okay. Traded, foraged. I'm not going to upgrade anything just now. Let's see what the orcs have to say about things. So we are on our third blue. $13. Roll d6 to discover where they have been foraging. 1 to 2 is a plains. 3 to 4 is a forest. 5 to 6 is a river. Roll on the foraging table for that location type. That item is no longer available. This is the one that made me sad last time. Okay, this is the plains. Dock leaves. Dock leaves have become impossible to find. Um, that is bad, and don't think I don't realize that that's bad, but I currently do have a few dock leaves to spare. So on the scale of things, it could be a little bit worse. Okay, we're going to go ahead and open up Notepad on the other screen. Um, no more dock leaves. I thought you said you were doing it on the other screen. I lied. That was the end of that turn, which brings me to, logically enough, new turn. Okay. So I do have locals willing to visit me again. Hilariously, right now, what I really need is some more forage from the water. So I can either go straight to here. Have a plan. Okay, so this is a pearl. Pearl. By 1. A pearl has a value of 4. In case you forgot. I have not forgotten the lucky charm. Roll 2. That is another truffle. And roll 3 is another truffle. Truffledy duffledy. What? Where is my head? Seaweed. Seaweed comes from the river. Okay, let's go ahead and try a sail. So this is currently not that useful to me until I get the lucky charm because I can only go up currently. The patch cloak, however, could be useful to my locals. So let's go ahead and invite one of them over. 7. 7 is Vlad, who is looking for truffle, snakeskin, and a patch cloak. I was just talking about you. Okay, 1 truffle. Value of 1. 1 patch of the cloak. The value of 3 gives me 5 coins. So 1 successful roll. I will go ahead and look at Terrence. Terrence is looking for some dock leaf and a snakeskin and a patch cloak. Well, I'm not about to turn down someone who wants to buy the goddamn dockweed. I have a stock of dock. Okay. So I now have 16 coin. And I'm buying myself this here Lucky Charm for 5, which immediately reduces my risk by 2, making my decision not quite as stupid as it originally appeared. Allegedly. Okay, and we are on the edge of winter. Well, for now, let's see what the orcs are doing. That is a 10. A 10 is a number. Local customers will not visit your emporium. That's okay. That's okay. Not necessarily my favorite thing to happen, but I have plans anyway. So that, oh, please stop hovering over there. Why have I not turned that off? Um, this is the last day of autumn. So, since I will not be able to reach them at all, I'm going to go ahead and forage this last river space. That gives me a... Is that a trout? That is indeed. Trout by 1. Value 3. And that means that I have a little bit of everything from the river regions. I'm going to go ahead and use my next action, especially since I can't invite any locals over, to visit the trader. And the trader wants to sell me an elven sword. That sounds very exciting. I don't have one of those. And the value is 6. No, I didn't forget how to number. You forget how to number. Which brings me back to my original number. That's so heartwarming. Okay, I am not going to buy anything here. Let's go ahead and see what the orcs are up to. With my modifier there and my roll there. They are relaxing. But now we have a problem. At the end of every season, roll 1d6. On a 1, 2, or 3, you must destroy an upgrade of your choosing. So, go ahead and roll 5, 6, or 7. I made up numbers 4, 5, or 6. So I don't have to make any choices. I love not having to think. Okay, so I don't have to worry about losing my apples in the horrible apple um, incident. And that brings us into the first day, week, pip, whatever of winter. Okay, so I have 1 forest, 2 forests, 2 other areas. I could play the game of, oh, and because I still have the staff uniforms, I still have an assistant. So that was glorious. Okay. So for my first trick, because frankly we're running out of time, um, I'm going to go ahead and get the 2 extra forages from this forest spot. So roll number 1 gives me, what's that? A truffle. Roll number 2 gives me a truffle. And roll number 3 to completely change things will give me a, oh thank God, apple. I have many apples I could have done with an extra honeycomb, but oh well. Okay, so everyone was relaxed last time. Let's go ahead and invite over some yokels. Okay, 10. So 10 is Petal, who wants seaweed, honeycomb, and leather gauntlets. I can give her one of those things. I could go down one to Hans, who wants an apple, snakeskin, and boar meat. I could go up one to honeycomb trout and a healing balm, or up two to pearl trout and bracelets. Um, I am going to go ahead and take that option because I have a pearl and I have a trout and I don't have a bracelet, but you can't always be perfect. And for my next shop opening, I will be doing an out of town customer, and it will be Willow. Now, you want the elven sword that I have, and that is probably a good one. I haven't served Amara yet, though. But I don't have anything she wants. Roland, neither, and Thorn. So yeah, best to just go ahead and sell the Elven Sword, which has a value of 6, which makes it a 8 gold into the coin purse. Okay. Um, I think I will go ahead and buy the tapestries, which gives me 1 extra coin per item sold, which will make up for starting to have slimmer pickings. I am going to go ahead and move this apple out of the extra storage. Um, and for no reason, I'm moving that to a different slot. That one's admittedly just to be silly. Okay. Um, so that was my upgrade phase. I am currently at a modifier of 3. I roll a 15. That is bad. Um, or at least it would be. Now, this is where I need to go ahead and talk to Ways Unseen because the orcs are burning the countryside really seems important enough to be at this one, but that's the assistant quitting, which would do nothing. Um, but that's okay. I'm going to stick with the roll is for the effect. Your assistant won't quit at the end of season or as a result of orc actions. So that is that is okay. And then we move the diddly palm. Um, I have one chance to find a carrot. I'll also accept the snake skin, but a three is the dockweed, which dock leaves, which I can't get any more of. So let's go ahead and open up the shop for locals. Seven. Seven is Vlad, who wants a truffle, which I have. Snakeskin, patched cloak. If I go down one, I can sell an apple, which is better than which is slightly more expensive. Or I can go up one, which brings me to buttons. Buttons will buy a seaweed, pink, pink, and an apple, pink, pink, and an ironmongery. So that's another four. But because I have the tapestries, I actually get another three from that sale. So good stuff. Um, I'd want her to come back over. That is an eight, which is legitimately buttons. Um, so I've got seaweed, honeycomb, leather gauntlets. If I go up two, I've got apple snake skin. If I go up one, um, truffle snake skin and patched cloak. I think I'm going to go ahead and stick with buttons for obvious reasons. So I sell the last seaweed, bringing me up to 23. I sell one more apple, bringing me to 25. I sell the last ironmongery, bringing me to 29. And then I get three more coins for selling three things, which brings me up to 32. Okay, let's see what the orcs are planning now. Three, 6, 7, 8, 9, which is local customers will not visit your Emporium next round. I feel like I made off pretty well from the local customers, so no complaints there. Okay. I only have two places I can forage. I have a 50-50 chance of getting something that I don't have if I go in the plains. So let's go ahead and go to the plains and roll a 1, 2, or 3. That was sarcasm. You weren't supposed to listen to that one. Um. Oh my gosh. I sure hope I didn't miss too many of those. Okay. Did I go back to you? I have not gone back to you. Let's go ahead and do our last purchase from you. Elven Sword is back. So yeah, between the staff uniforms and the Lucky Charm, I am in a much better place when it comes to getting friends to come and buy stuff. But that was the end there. I'm at 32. I am kind of leaning towards buying the pet mimic just for the completion points. Yes. Okay. New day. Oh, nope, 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 nope. Rewind. Nope. Have to deal with the orcs first. So that there is a 13. 13 is... Okay. 13 is roll d6 to discover where they've been foraging. Roll on the foraging table for that location type. This could do nothing. Or this could be tragic. There is a very small chance of it being tragic. Okay, so 4. 4 is forest. 5 is apple. We already have that. Okay, so that was that day. We're here. We're going to our last little doodly hinky. I really would like to see a 6 on this die roll. Honeycomb! It's right over on the screen. 3. Okay. So I'm at the point here where I kind of want high rolls. If I roll an 11 or a 12, then I can no longer forage on a plains or forest location. I can't forage anymore. 13, 14 is going to take another item off of my foraging list. Can't do that. 15 or 16, my assistant quits, stealing 2 coins. The staff uniforms prevents that from happening. And on a 17 plus, they raid the Emporium. But my pet mimic will prevent that from happening. So it's actually currently in my best interest to go visit a trader and piss off the orcs just so I can thumb my nose at them. Except he's going to offer me another ironmongery, which I'm going to buy, but I'm not going to be happy about it. Okay, so that is my actions for the day. You know what? Let's go ahead and buy the counter bell. which confirms how cheaty I was, like a mad, bad, cheaty cheaterson. Um, and oops, the orcs are currently at 4. Seven plus 2 is 9, which means I can't talk to locals tomorrow. That's the damn shame. Okay. We are down to our final 2 rounds. So we're going to go ahead and go to Trader B, who is offering me a wooden shield, which I will buy. And I forgot to actually mark this one. Okay. And now, of course, it's sales time. So once I can re-roll these, and I've got my pluses and minuses. So no locals. 12. So Thorn is looking for healing balm, which I don't have. A mage's robe or dragon scale. I can go down 1 to a boar meat, which I don't have, an iron sword, which I don't have, or a magic scroll, which I don't have. So I'm going to go ahead and use my reroll. 8. Okay. 8 brings me to Milo, who I can't help, but I can go up to Balin, who wants a paraglider. Yeah, I don't have anything that Amara wants, so we'll just go ahead and sell the paraglider. So, Elven Sword by 1. Value is 6. Okay, paraglider. A paraglider is value 5, 7, and an extra one is 8. Brings the coin back up to 20. I have one more chance to impress a customer. 7. Balin, ironically enough. Go up. I can do a trout or leather gauntlets. Do I have any seaweed hiding anywhere? No ancient mirror. And I still don't have anything from her. Well, that's okay. I tried. Not going to buy the fancy sign. Which means it's time for the orcs to dance. 12. A 12 is cross out a single plains or forest location. I cannot cross anything out. So that's that, and that brings us to the final day. We'll go ahead and try and remember that the risk rate tracker is 1 higher. But I'm going to go ahead and go to Trader A one last time. He is offering me a treasure map, which I remember someone asking for. So that is a good deal by me. Okay, so final visit. We are going out of town. See if we can get some of these other people. Lila wants trout or leather gauntlets. You want honeycomb healing balm and a tome of oddities. And of course, we've been to Ballin and Milo quite a bit. So this is my reroll, which gives me a 6 again. That was slightly on the cruel side. Fortunately, Balin wants a treasure map. So 5, 6, 7, 8 is my final number there, which brings me to 23, if I'm not mistaken. And because that was a successful sale, I get one more attempt at this. And that's a 7. And no trout have magically appeared. No leather gauntlets have magically appeared. Another treasure map has not appeared. No ancient mirror has appeared. And neither has a magic scroll or a ruby amulet. Okay. I could just buy the fancy sign for S's and G's, but it's not going to actually help. So let's not do that. And let's see what the last act of the orcs will be. 16, which my assistant quits if I didn't have the staff uniforms to prevent that from applying. Okay, so locations visited. I went everywhere. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 19 locations visited. Upgrades 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Out of town customers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 23 coin remaining. So, what does that actually mean? Okay, it's one conclusion point for every 3 locations visited. So that is going to be 6. The upgrades are the upgrades. The out of town customers. And the 1 CP for every 5 gold I have remaining, which would make this 4. I did not use any haggle or any eagle eye, so all is good there. So if I go ahead and add up 6 plus 14, that is 20, 25, 29. 29. Impressive. Your reputation has grown to the point where some prefer your establishment to the Eager Otter Boutique. I do not like taking sales away from the Eager Otter Boutique. They are quite eager and ottery, which are good things to be. But that is a massively huge improvement over my last time, which is obviously related to the fact that I did not do the haggle points. So there you have it. A far more successful round of our lovely Village Emporium game. Which brings tonight's stream to a close. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And until next time. when I reach back into my hoard for something else to play.